All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are looking at a huge government initiative in India, the Rythu Bharosa Kendras. And the big question we're going to ask ourselves is right there on the screen. Was this really a farming revolution?
To really wrap your head around this, just imagine for a second. Picture a government-run Apple store, but for farmers. You know, a clean, efficient, single place you could go for top-quality seeds, real expert advice, and the latest tech.
Well, in the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh, this wasn't just an idea. It became a massive real-world experiment. And I mean massive. This wasn't some small pilot program. This was a full-scale attempt to completely change farming. So let's break down what made this idea so revolutionary. What was the grand vision here?
Officially, they're called Rythu Bharosa Kendras, or RBKs for short. And the concept was beautifully simple. Create government-owned, one-stop shops. The idea was to give farmers everything they need, and I mean everything, for agriculture and related services, all under one roof, right in their own village. And the scale, I mean, just look at that number. It's staggering. The plan wasn't for a few hundred of these centers. Nope. They planned for over 10,500 of them across the state. That's pretty much one for every single village. And you can really hear the optimism in this quote from the agricultural commissioner back in 2020. He called them a game changer, the first of their kind in the whole country. The belief was that this single platform was going to change absolutely everything for farmers. So you have this huge network of one-stop shops. But how was it all supposed to work? Let's take a peek at the blueprint. The official plan was, well, it was incredibly ambitious. This wasn't just about selling seeds. It was about guaranteeing quality stuff at the right price at the right time. It was about being a knowledge center, teaching farmers about new tech, connecting them online. Basically, the whole shebang, all designed to boost their income. And the system behind it was set up kind of like Amazon. They called it the hub and spoke model. So a farmer would go to their local village center, that's the spoke, and place an order. That order zips over to a big district warehouse, the hub, where it's processed and then shipped back to the village for the farmer to pick up. Simple, right? And the heart of this whole vision was technology. Every single one of these centers was supposed to have digital kiosks and smart TVs. The goal was a smooth, modern experience where farmers could get info and place orders with just a touch of a screen. Okay, so that was the dream, this high-tech, super efficient blueprint. But the real question is always, how did it actually hold up when it hit the ground? To get that reality check, we're going to look at a 2023 study that did something simple but powerful. It just asked the farmers. Researchers talked to 120 farmers who use these RBKs and basically said, so, how's it going? What's working and what's not? And the results, well, they speak for themselves. When you look at the biggest problems farmers faced, it wasn't some complex policy issue. It was logistics, pure and simple. The number one complaint, not getting seeds on time for the sowing season. Right after that was not getting the right kind of supplies they needed. And this chart makes it crystal clear. The top three problems, seed delays, wrong inputs, and limited supply, all point a finger directly at that hub and spoke supply chain. Getting the right product to the right village at the right time turned out to be a massive challenge. And that gap between vision and reality becomes even more stark here. The vision was all about functioning digital kiosks. The reality, farmers ranked broken kiosks as a major problem. The vision promised expert farm advice. The reality, a lack of good crop-specific advice was the number one service complaint. So you might be thinking, okay, so the whole thing was a failure. But hold on, the bigger picture here is actually way more complicated and, honestly, a lot more interesting. You see, it's really important to note that these RBKs didn't exist in a vacuum. They were just one piece of a much larger welfare program. That bigger program also gave direct financial aid, cash, to farmers. And get this, it included tenant farmers, a group that is almost always left out of these kinds of programs. And we're talking about a significant amount of money. Through this larger scheme, every eligible family gets 13,500 rupees a year. It's a direct cash payment, a mix of state and central government funds to help with their costs. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Here's the twist. Despite all those real, on-the-ground problems that farmers were reporting, the concept of the RBK model was getting international praise. In fact, in 2022, it was nominated by India for a Champion Award from the UN's Food and Agriculture Organization. But let's go back to the farmers, because that same study that pointed out all the problems also asked them for solutions. And their suggestions are just so practical, so full of common sense. They said things like, plan the orders before the monsoon, stock up in advance, and train the staff better. They weren't just complaining, they were showing a clear path forward. So in the end, the story of the Rythu Bharosa Kendras isn't a simple story of success or failure. It's a powerful look at what happens when a massive, truly revolutionary vision meets the messy, complex reality of making it work. And it leaves us with a really critical question. For any project this ambitious, what does it truly take to bridge that gap?